What's happening, everyone, and welcome to the Club Face-Off, brought to you with Super 6. Today, of course, we're talking about the Manchester Derby, one of the biggest games of the season. And to help me go through it is none other than Adam McKola and Buvey. Manchester City versus Manchester United. Feeling confident?
Yeah, of course. We've got an amazing record against them. They've not won the league title in 10 years. They're more a Europa League side than a Champions League side in the last 10 years. Fair play to them. It's a big game for them.
You're getting all your one-liners out in the first paragraph, are you?
You feeling
it's a big
Hold
game
some
for
back
Adam.
a little bit,
It's a
will
big-
you?
You feeling good?
You know what? Generally, no. You know, Man City are a much better team than us when you look at everything about them at the moment. They're a much better team than us. But you bring anyone to Old Trafford, form kind of goes out the window in these games. We've seen it under various different managers. We've been able to beat them. So I think we can do it. And I think
Do you
being
actually
at
go
home,
into this game confident?
at Old Trafford, no. But I think we can do it. I go into this game thinking we can beat them. I don't go into the game confident. There's a big difference. And I think at Old Trafford, if the crowd get up for it, our players are up for it, you never know what could happen. Do you know what I mean?
You know, if you look at the size of the two clubs, the trajectory that the two clubs have been on in recent years, the gap between them is closing. Like the days of us being kids and Manchester City kind of languishing at best in the lower half of the Premier League and you winning.
Yeah, there's some kids that will not remember United winning.
No.
leagues.
Okay, so that's an interesting point. With that in mind, those kids, there is a generation who only know Manchester United as a top club, but also Manchester City now as a top club. Is there a world where the power and sort of dynamism of Manchester as a city shifts? In our lifetime, could you see a world where Manchester United become the second team in Manchester?
In our lifetime, that could happen.
Could.
I'm not, look, in terms of where do players want to go, where's the success at? That could happen. I mean, it's happening.
That's probably
It's
happening, but that's not the
But
same as
I'll
biggest club.
I'll raise your question with a question.
Okay.
Let's say Atletico Madrid won La Liga for the next 5 years. Would you make them the biggest team in Madrid?
No, but
It's
say they
beyond
did it
that,
for the
it's
next
beyond
20
that.
years.
Yeah, we're talking about our lifetimes. We're not
Say
going
they
to be
did
around
it for the
5
next
years.
20 years.
Decades. Four or 5 decades.
4 or 5 decades. I
That's the
hope I lived that
question.
long.
That's the
Jesus.
question, isn't it? I mean, that's like
Yeah,
our
I'll
lifetime.
ask questions around
Yeah.
it. Thank you. I respect that. This is,
Well, I'm listening
mate,
to you.
this is
I'm
the first
listening to
time
what
I've
you
been
said.
given
Look,
this.
exactly. I'm
Yeah,
spot on.
yeah,
Look,
yeah.
listening to
history
you.
counts for football. There'll always be old people like me and you that care about the past. Manchester United will always be, in my opinion, a bigger club.
Buvey, can
Just
you
for the
see-
same reason Real Madrid will always be a bigger club than Atletico Madrid. Yes, Atletico Madrid could have more success in them in a modern era or in a short term.
But with success comes
History.
prestige and history. Yeah. And also comes, if you start signing all the best players, you start winning all the trophies, you start beating that opposition on a regular basis, at what point does
Pep has
it
to do
sort
a
of
Fergie.
shift?
Yeah. Pep has to do a Fergie.
Pep has to do a Fergie.
And then we
doesn't
have to be real about what football history is all about. No club has a divine right to be the biggest. In the late 19th century, there was loads of different clubs that were all starting out, and City are just as old as Man United. There's 4 years between us, and United had 30 years without winning a league title before Fergie came in. They've been relegated in the last 50 years. So United don't have a divine right to be the biggest club in the world. They were because
one
of
does,
Fergie, and they are now. We're still saying that 10 years of utter failure, in my
also,
opinion.
bro, you
because of
remember those
Fergie.
30 years, 26 years or whatever it is when we didn't win a league? We were still huge.
Yeah, of course you were.
We were still one of the
You have
biggest
massive
teams
players.
about.
Yeah,
We were
of
still
course.
regarded as one of the biggest teams. So
Can you see it, Buvey, then? Can you see a world where within our lifetime, Manchester City are the premier team in Manchester?
Yeah, and I think the only thing holding it back is the makeup of the fan base, because I think United fans are used to, rightly so, Adam's lived through Ferguson. What have I lived through? Kevin Keegan and Stuart Pearce at points. So United fans are interested in being the biggest club in the world. They talk about shirt sales. They talk about numbers. The City, the characteristics of football clubs, the fans are different in every football club. City fans don't care about being the biggest club. That might hold us back in the sense we don't care about the City, the Etihad Stadium being Old Trafford.
That's local fans. That doesn't stop you attracting
international-
attracting
yeah,
international
of course.
fan base. You can still attract those,
course.
and you still will attract those international fan bases.
What's quite interesting here, look, my role on this is to very much be the arbiter, but I'm surprised the way this conversation has gone, because I thought you would say no passionately, because I kind of think it's no. But that's neither
No,
here
I
nor there. In terms
don't
of
think
on the
City will
pitch,
ever be bigger than us.
In terms
And
of
you
on-
also look, you may disagree with me massively here. You also have to look at how that success has come. And let's just take the trebles, for example. Manchester United was done with a homegrown nucleus built from kind of, Fergie arrives there, builds it from rubble, really. Like the story around United counts. And
Andy
those
Cole
things
wasn't
count
rubble.
in football.
Andy Cole wasn't rubble. He was the most
No, but
expensive player in
those
British
things
football
count
history.
in football. Do you know what I mean? Like
also the
the
treble,
story counts.
being first Being first matters. You were the first treble. That counts.
20 league titles count.
Can
The homegrown thing's harsh.
you can't name the
Phil
second man
Foden,
on the
Rico
moon, can
Lewis.
can't name the second man on
No,
the
no,
moon.
but the homegrown things
true.
matters. We had you
a
can
good
mention Foden and Lewis and stuff.
And John Stones.
But we
and-
did it with
That's
John
all
Stones
true.
ain't homegrown. Come on.
He's part of the homegrown
No.
quota.
I'm on about you didn't do it with a nuclear like that's sexy. That's a story. That's
Of course it is,
that's
of course
like
it
the Lisbon Lions type of shit.
Yeah, of course.
Well, so on the pitch though, so there is definitely a conversation to be had off the pitch, but on the pitch, it's just Manchester City, isn't it? If
I
you
mean,
were-
they're the best
by
team right now. They've got
far.
the best manager right now.
Yeah, they've won a
They've got the
treble.
best. If you take away off the pitch stuff and reasons why you wouldn't like their owners, they've got the best owners right now in terms of purely wanting the best football project.
Can anyone from the Manchester City in fact, let me ask you this, Booth. Do you look at the Manchester United team, first 11, with envy anywhere on the pitch?
no.
Literally no.
Honestly, no.
But that's not to say players couldn't get into City's team because
That
you've
is
got to
for
bear
me.
in mind
That
you
is
have
for
me.
Pep.
One.
If Pep Guardiola took them in training, like for example, I look at this and go, all right, we look at Marcus Rashford right now and we go, he wouldn't get into City's team. But if you put him into City's squad with City's manager and he has that, and also you bear in mind, he's just in bad form right now. You'd look at him and think, actually, probably gets in there. You know what I
You
mean?
don't know that.
Like, it's easy to go
I'm sure there's
when
players
they've
at
been
Luton that would be
with
good under
Moyes
Guardiola.
and Van Gaal and Mourinho and all these different players. Go, nah, they're shit. They won't make it.
Mm.
But actually, managers make a big difference to these things.
I think
You know what I
Rashford's an interesting one because I think technically he's nowhere near good enough to be in a Guardiola side anyway. So I don't think that's a fair
Is it any
argument.
player?
There's a few. I think Højlund's a great example. He's young, explosive. He's obviously very reminiscent of Haaland in terms of his play style.
What about if I were to say,
I
does
think
Bruno,
Sandro
does,
Martinez would.
No way.
does Bruno Fernandes?
No way. I'm not trying to be biased, by the way.
Bruno
Shaw would.
Fernandes.
Luke Shaw would. We haven't got a naturalised left back. Of course he would.
Bruno
But
Fernandes.
no, nowhere near this. Nowhere near.
But Bruno Fernandes could play in a Bernardo Silva role quite easy there. And again, you've got to bear in mind the situation Bruno Fernandes is in Manchester United. He's playing hero ball most of the time. He's trying to be a hero. At City, suddenly becomes about a team. You put him in that environment where it's pass, move, pass, move, pass, move. You're not the main man anymore. Looks like it.
But there are
Bruno
ways of applying
Fernandes-
yourself when you're
let's
struggling.
not-
When the
let's not
chips
be
are down,
silly here.
there are ways
Bruno
of applying
Fernandes
yourself.
is one of the best midfielders in the world.
He doesn't apply himself
His
the right way.
numbers are
You know,
ridiculous.
I'm just
He
thinking.
does.
I'm just
I
thinking
don't
about the
think he does.
history, right? So we were talking about the history and if it can ever change, if Manchester City could ever eclipse Manchester United. If you were to do a combined 11 all time, who has more players in it? In fact, let's
All
do it. Let's
time?
just do it. An all time.
Manchester United.
Well, let's see. An all time Manchester United, Manchester City 11. Do you want to do it Premier League era just because it's easier? Let's do Premier League era.
Let's do players we've seen in the Premier League
Premier
era.
League
yeah.
era. Premier League era.
Let's go over the easy ones as well. We can just skim them. That's a debate, all the
Okay,
easy
so-
ones.
so
So
goalkeeper is-
Schmeichel,
Van der
I
Sar in
can't.
goal.
Well, Van der Sar.
What? Not Schmeichel.
He cartwheeled for City and it kind of sits with
No,
him.
but do the best
Yeah,
one. Do the best one.
be objective.
Do the
Be
best one.
objective.
Yeah. Is it?
He
Van der
loved
Sar
that as
the
well.
best
He loved that.
defensive record. Peter Schmeichel.
Schmeichel in goal.
Carl Walker right back.
Gary Neville.
Oh.
That's the one we can debate. I don't want to, but Carl Walker's a
I
better
think Kyle
fullback.
Walker's a better player. I think Gary Neville had a better career so far.
Who's a better footballer?
Kyle Walker. All right. But I think Gary Neville is a much better footballer than even he makes
Yeah,
out.
I agree with that. But
Real
Yeah,
Ferdinand.
that's true.
so we've hang on. I'm going to keep score here.
It's 1-1.
So we're 1-1 at the moment.
Real
So,
Ferdinand.
so we're Carl
Yeah.
Walker and Peter Schmeichel, Rio Ferdinand and
Yapstam.
Company's better than Yapstam in the
Oh,
Premier League era.
God.
He is
God.
in the Premier League era.
Yapstam won 3 in a row, I think. And he won a treble.
Three Premier League titles. So Company won 4 Premier League titles, I think it was.
No, Yapstam didn't win. No, he did win 3 in a row.
Yeah.
He also won a treble.
Stam over Vidic.
Yapstam over Vidic.
I think Company and Vidic is hard. I think Yapstam just doesn't have the longevity in the league. That's a
All
fair
right,
thing to
Vidic
say.
won 2 players of the year.
Yeah, Vidic.
No defender's ever done it.
So
Plus
we-
the partnership you get with that Vidic
I'm
and Rio.
surprised you didn't try and put maybe Ruben Diaz on the.
He'll be very, very close. He'll be very
But
close.
you know the thing is with Ruben Diaz and that, and John Stones. I know I'm helping him here, but you look at in a few years, then you go,
Yeah.
it's
If
too
they,
early.
if they retain the
'cause they're
European
kind
Cup,
of
for
in their
example, yeah,
peak.
it's
He's
too hard.
25 years old.
Yeah, it's
Ruben
hard.
Diaz, like
It's hard.
26.
It's hard to do that now.
hard
But for
to do it
now,
now.
as of today, we're Vidic, Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Left back Dennis Irwin.
We
Okay.
don't have one.
Okay, so this is heavily right. So should we do
Really.
4-4-2, 4-3-3? What do you want?
4-3-3. I think both
Okay.
managers deployed it.
4-3-3. Right.
I go 4-3-3 changes things because I put Beckham in a 4-3-3. But you go
Anyone-
Keane, Scholes,
Anyone you want to put forward straight away?
Keane, Scholes, Yaya. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think Yaya gets in ahead of, if you had to be between
Keane,
him and Roy Keane,
Scholes.
I think he's better than Roy Keane.
No place for Keane in your
I said Keane, Scholes, and
Keane,
Yaya.
Keane,
if you're going to do
Scholes
the
and-
midfield
Keane,
three,
Scholes. So
Yeah.
no place for Kevin De Bruyne.
I put in De Bruyne over Scholes. I think he does
Not better
everything.
than Scholes.
But I'm just trying to say that I think on a technical level,
You
he's
can
got,
have
he's
a
got,
vote if you want in these situations,
Yeah.
by the way, but
I'm
I can't
I'm
allow
gonna
Kevin De
if
Bruyne.
we can,
follow
if we can,
Buvey.
if I can at
I'm
least
just
explain,
surprised you didn't go
he's a
for
I
better,
think
Bruyne.
there's a
he's a
lot
better
of
goal
this
scorer.
is
He's a better
recency
athlete.
bias.
But can I at least explain? He's a better passer of the ball than Paul Scholes,
He's
in my
not.
opinion. In terms of range of
Passer.
passing,
Passer.
he whips the ball nearly as good as Beckham in terms of
Bear in
crossing.
mind, Paul Scholes' nickname was Satnav.
Better goal record, better athlete, better off the ball than Scholes.
He's
Scholes
probably
is
better.
poor.
He's probably a better athlete.
So
because Scholes had
given you-
asthma.
Okay, so you give me one thing out of five. Out of five elements of being a midfielder on a technical
He's
basis,
not a better passer.
Scholes isn't as good.
He didn't score as better goals.
I think Scholes is a better pass. De Bruyne's a better passer than Scholes.
not.
Long range,
I'm
close
sorry,
range.
but
This
the
City
one
side is
thing
the best
De Bruyne
passing
will
side ever seen in the
ever-
league, bro. It's the
one
best
thing De
passing
Bruyne will
side
never
ever seen in the
meet
league.
Scholesy on is passing.
De Bruyne was part of a midfield that was getting 70% average
Look,
possession
I'll let
throughout
him
a
have the final
30-game
vote,
season.
but for me, it's Scholes.
For me, Adam's impassioned display here has actually swung me a bit because if I was doing it, I would have definitely had De Bruyne in my team somewhere. Like we're picking the combined.
I think De Bruyne's
De Bruyne-
amazing. I don't think De Bruyne's even better than Beckham.
I
though.
think De Bruyne has to be in this though, lads.
Nah, he doesn't.
Why?
He's not. He's not
But
that guy, bro.
you've not. I don't understand. This City side
a
have got
fun-
100 points, averaging 70% possession.
City are an amazing team. De Bruyne is an amazing player, but I'm talking about the greatest. Like the Beckham, Keane, Scholes, Giggs midfield. Oh my god,
So
the
what-
midfields they
in your
dispatched
team.
stuff was unreal.
What have we got at the moment? We've got you've both agreed Yaya Toure, is that right?
I've gone Keane, Scholes, Yaya.
Plus
If we're doing a midfield
Keane-
Plus,
three.
De Bruyne's getting
Scholes.
goals against Real Madrid and all that. I mean, it's unbelievable.
If you want to change
FA
Yaya
Cup
with De
final
Bruyne,
goals.
cool.
Did Scholes score in an FA Cup final?
You did, yeah.
Did he score
99.
against
Yeah,
Real
he
Madrid
scored
in the
against
Champions League
My
Newcastle.
10th
semi-final?
birthday.
Champions League semi, the kind of goal that De Bruyne scored against
He
Arsenal.
scored in the semi-final against
what
Barcelona.
about the
to
goal
knock
that De
them out.
Bruyne scored against Arsenal, the Etihad, where he's
He
explosive
scored in the
pace,
semi-final.
Gerrard-esque?
He scored in the semi-final to knock them out.
Honestly, I
Scored
think,
goal of the season at
I
Villa.
think nostalgia plays a massive part for Man United.
I
fans.
think
doesn't.
the
does.
only rule that I'm going to put into this, I'm going to let you two sort out the midfield, but De Bruyne has to be in it. He has to be.
Yaya's out then. Keane, Scholes, De Bruyne.
Okay, and then up front,
Well, Ronaldo on the left.
Ronaldo on the right. Left. You can do left or right.
Yeah, I think he has to be left, but surely that's
yeah.
won the Ballon d'Or.
Okay,
Um,
is there anyone you want to put in this booth?
obviously, I'd say Aguero gets in there on a debate basis, but then Wayne Rooney has to
who
be
are
in there.
you putting forward?
Rooney
here?
and Ronaldo have to be in
So
it.
Rooney, Ronaldo, Aguero.
Cantona better than Aguero.
Is Cantona ahead of Aguero?
No,
Of course he is.
no, way less goals.
But as a
worse goals to game ratio.
you got where you could. It depends where you're playing Rooney. If you're playing Rooney through the middle, you're playing Ronaldo. Where'd you say on the left?
Yeah.
Then we have to go right winger. You got Beckham, Mahrez. Beckham for me, but Mahrez has
Bernardo
been
Silva's
unreal.
a shout.
Hang on again.
Bernardo, come
hang
on,
on.
Bernardo
hang
don't
on.
get ahead of
No, I'm just
Mahrez.
saying
We're
it's a
doing this
shout,
again. Again, I think that Aguero has to be in this. front
Aguero
three.
doesn't have to be in
Do
it.
you not think?
He's not better than Rooney.
He might not be
Yeah, but
better than Rooney,
we-
but this.
So there's only one
We're
striker in
we're
this.
debating football. It's not just a United debate.
No, but
We've
there's
got to
only
debate
one.
the
But it's a United City debate, you lose.
Yeah.
And it's one striker.
But people
So he has
say
to be better than
Henry's the
Rooney.
best striker in Premier League history, then Aguero, then
What
Shearer.
about? Could you do this? Could you
Who's
play
people? You.
Football fans consider Aguero top
Rooney-
three strikers in the
could you
history.
play
of the
You've got
Rooney
to bear in
slightly out
mind,
of position?
everyone hates Man United.
Rooney
true.
slightly out of position?
Where?
Just behind.
Shove him right.
Shove him right.
Shove him right. Like he
Shove
used
him
to do
right.
in his prime career, just make him a utility player.
Nah, I'm not having it.
That's what Fergie did.
Mate,
Why did Fergie put
you
him
can rip
right
the shit
back and all
out
that?
of corrupt Man United. But the great Man United, you're not having it.
Rooney didn't play up front in his prime, mate. He wasn't
Rooney
even
was
he wasn't
elite.
even asked to do that.
When he
Aguero
did,
played
though,
up front in his prime.
When
Most
Rooney
iconic
did,
moment
when
in
Rooney
Premier
did
history.
go up from what happened? 35 goals. Bang.
I don't
There you
remember
go.
that. When was
Valencia,
that?
stick it
When
on
was
my
that?
head, son.
25 years ago. When was that? 24 years ago. There was a new Labour government.
There we have it. That was wild. Just lads, I want one sentence from each of you. Buvey, one sentence. Why did Man City beat Manchester United this year?
Guardiola, 3-0.
We beat City because we're Man United and they're Man City.
I think that's fair. Thank you so much for watching this video. We've really enjoyed this debate. Manchester United versus Manchester City. It's going to be a cracker. We're going to be live for the game, so make sure that you join us. Thank you so much to the wonderful people of Super 6 who have partnered with us for the season. They're kings. In a bit, yo.